Dory 1, this is Fire Team Delta. Dad's coming home.
Welcome to the Military Veteran Dad Podcast, where it is our mission to bring every dad home. I am your host, Ben Cloy. I'm a United States Marine veteran, husband, and a father. We will bring authentic conversations to inspire action in your life so we can close the gap between the dad you are today and the dad you want to be tomorrow. This is the Military Veteran Dad Podcast. You guys will never guess what happened. The boiled egg I had for breakfast this morning was really hard to beat. Welcome back, guys. This is Fatherhood Friday. It is your official welcome to the weekend. We are well into summer up here in the Cloy household. We're going to the water park. We're having fun outside. Really going well. And I hope that a similar experience is going well for you. Today, I really just want to share a lesson that is fresh off the R&D lab that I continue to work on and develop this skill, but it is still a hard skill to develop. One, because it takes intuition, and two, it takes a lot of calming down to really be present in this moment. So my youngest daughter just started summer school. So this is her going into kindergarten. She's 4, going on 5 this month. And it's kind of this anxiety thing for her. Like, there's new people, there's a new experience. She was excited about kindergarten, but this whole thing is kind of like changed her picture of kindergarten. And today, her anxiety was pretty much from the moment she woke up. She was kind of just not wanting to go and very defiant. And I recognized that. And so I was kind of working through it in many ways. I didn't give into it. I was just recognizing it and saying, okay, we got to get going, and getting her in the car and all the kids in the car essentially and getting ready to go. Get the other 2 kids dropped off at school. And now I head to where she goes and drop her off. And she doesn't want to get out of the car. Now, this is probably a familiar moment where there's lots of kids that don't want to get out of the car. I think it's a pretty routine in many areas other than just summer school like here. And what I did in this moment was I just waited. I opened the door. I said, we need to get going. And that was it. And I waited probably a good 3 minutes. Maybe it wasn't full 3 minutes, but it felt 3 minutes. And in that moment, she eventually got the courage and unbuckled herself and got out of the car, and we started walking up. And then she started like kind of hesitating again, saying like, I don't want to go. I don't know anybody. And then she started getting sad and started crying. So I recognized this as a moment that she was anxious and her anxiety was high. And so we were on a baseball field walking up to the school. And so we just sat down. And in that moment, I was just trying to hear her. And in that moment, I was asking her questions like, why don't you like going to school? What's going on right now? How do you feel? Just getting her to verbalize some of the feelings she's feeling. And I think this is hard because kids don't have the language to articulate often why they're feeling what they're feeling. They just feel off on the inside. But because they don't have the life experience, she's 4 going on 5. And while they might try to pretend they're 16 going on 25, their emotional database of experiences to relate to words is very low. And this is something as a parent I had to learn the hard way, because you often forget that you're barely trying to figure out whatever age you're at. I'm 36 and I'm still trying to figure out how to be 36. Well, they're still trying to figure out how to be 4 and what the world looks like, trying to find their place, trying to find their boundaries, the whole 9 yards. And so in this moment, I was just letting and hearing what she had to say. And in that moment, she was also like, I'm not good. The kids don't like me. And I recognized that that was a moment where I could then also like validate, like I can imagine how that feels. And then as a father, I was able to reflect back, you're an amazing person. You have a kind heart. Just say hello to the new kids and ask them if you can play with them. Kind of giving her the courage and the words to step into new situations, because her anxiety in those situations in the classroom was kind of, I think, maybe creating a barrier. In some magnified way, it's the same barrier that keeps a dad from really engaging his kids because he feels this anxiousness, so he pulls back. And having those words, we'll find out, because I'll go pick her up after recording this and whether it worked or not and how she felt. But hopefully, getting her the ability to be seen and heard helped her calm down enough. And so we essentially got through that moment on the grass, and she calmed down. We wiped her tears away. And so we start walking towards the door where we need to line up. And in that moment, she started getting sad again. Like, I don't want to go. And I was like, I'll be right here to get you when the bell rings. And I'm going to be right here. I'm not going anywhere. I know you got this. And just like a brave little girl, she walked up to that line and got in line. And I started walking away. The lesson that I really want you to hear in this story is kids at all ages, doesn't matter whether a young toddler or a teenager, they have a deep desire to be seen and heard and understood. So many times kids want to articulate something, or they're trying to tell us something, but maybe we're too caught up in what we want them to do to really hear what they want to say or why they believe they shouldn't have to do it. And in those moments, we're essentially teaching them that what they feel and say doesn't matter, which is not something you want them to understand. You want them to understand that their opinions matter, their voice, their thoughts, they have value. Think self-worth as an adult. That may even resonate for you within your own story of childhood. So within these moments, they happen very small. And this is why the intuition is so good, because you have to be calmed down internally enough to not let your own anxiety take over to where maybe you lose your cool, you're yelling at I could have easily had a mode where I'm yelling at her and making it a very frustrating experience for her to go up and line up in class. But I didn't. I had the intuition that she needed space, she needed time, and she needed time to process and for me to receive what she was feeling. And as a father, this is one of the coolest things that I think a father can do, is because I was calm, it resonated with her for her to remain calm and then go to a calm state where we could talk about it and move forward through it. But if we aren't calm on the inside, we're not able to project that within our kids. Our anxiety passes on to them, and it's just this loop of anxiety. So increase your intuition for when there's this resistance, when there's probably a feeling that you probably don't know or understand, but you know it's governing the behavior. And the first warning sign is the behavior and the feeling are usually not connected. Like, she was being difficult at breakfast, and I know that difficult wasn't coming from the choice in the breakfast that we had. It was coming from this feeling of underneath and this undercurrent that was related to going to school today. So this is something that takes practice. I would say I've been doing it now with my oldest for 9 years, and my youngest daughter is getting the benefit from all of the other practicing and having all the different reps of trying to do it with the older two. But in this moment, it's something to continue to practice on. Have grace if you don't get it right. Understand that you're learning all these skills as well. Like, whatever age you're hearing this episode, this is something maybe you're hearing for the first time. And give yourself grace that I'm going to have to figure out what my own internal emotions are, learning to calm down and grow up through maybe whatever's kind of that anxiety is coming from. And it's that calming down that allows you to, one, listen to it and feel it in them, and two, calm down enough where you then can help guide them through what they're going through. We just sat there on the grass. I held her, I rubbed her back, I gave her a hug, and that's all she really needed. She needed to be validated that what she's feeling is okay, and I still love her. And now she's only 4, but that lesson compounded over time will be like interest in a bank. And that value with my daughters, I know, is going to come from the inside because her dad believed in her enough to continue to validate what she needed to feel on the inside, and that she didn't need other people in her life to truly feel that internal love for herself. So guys, I hope this helps. I hope this lesson and my experience with this and my way of telling the story helped give visibility into opportunities in your kid's life for where you maybe can show up, help guide them through an emotion that they're feeling, and help reaffirm who they are and get them to where they need to go. I hope you have an amazing weekend. We'll talk again on Monday.